So, what's up, people? So welcome to another review. Again, I forgot my camera. I would have done another straight out the theater review otherwise, but again, I apologize for that. If I had more subscribers, I'd probably get complained to a lot. But, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about Malignant. Malignant follows the story of Madison, who is tormented by visions of grisly murders, then is shocked when she realizes that they are terrifying realities. This is a film that I have actually seen advertisements countless of times because I go to the movies constantly, just about. And I watch movies more than once. 3 times is my limit. I know there's some out there goes for like 7 times. Because I'm a Blu-ray/4K collector. I don't want to overstay my welcome because I like to actually get my money's worth out of the movies I buy. But anyway, Malignant was one of those that I've seen ads for constantly. And the more I watched them, I mean, they didn't throw out much trailers, but the more I watched it, the more I was like, okay, yeah. And then I saw director James Wan. I found out James Wan was directing this, and he's one of those that has really come up in the world since the early 2000s. Saw, Insidious. I actually liked Dead Silence for what it was. A lot of people claims that that's one of his weaker ones, but I actually liked it. I thought it was very stylistic. And then he went on to do like bigger time movies like Aquaman, Furious 7. So I had no doubt in my mind that Malignant was going to be another satisfying movie experience, theater experience. So with that in mind, let's get in with the positives of Malignant. The story was pretty good. I liked the whole concept. It was endearing. It was a cool concept. I liked where the story was headed. I liked the direction that James Wan took this film. It had the right amount of horror. Now, when this movie starts, he does this thing where he tries to get you guessing whether or not this was going to be a possession movie, another ghost type movie like The Conjuring or Insidious. Judging by what the trailers was telling you, you don't know whether or not what type of horror film this was going to be. It was pretty satisfying. It was one of those horror movies that I could definitely get behind. It had a slasher element to it, somewhat of a supernatural based element to it, but without giving too much away, it was definitely satisfying. There's plenty of carnage candy to be had. If you're a horror fan and you like plenty of blood and guts and gore, you're pretty much going to get that here. The slasher element, it kind of shows it in the trailer, but there is plenty of the slasher element, which is what I'm a big fan of. And whenever that started happening in this movie, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in heaven right now. Because yeah, I grew up with the classics like Freddy and Jason and Scream and Michael and all them. So watching Malignant, again, I wasn't quite sure what kind of movie this was going to be. But whenever that started, I was like, hell yeah, buddy. The cast was great. Annabelle Wallis, who plays the main character, was pretty good. I think I've seen her around in other stuff, but in Malignant, she acted pretty good. She played a really cool character that you could definitely get behind. Maddie Hasson, who played her sister, she was pretty good in it too. The chemistry between them two. It's just the all-around devastation of what Annabelle Wallis's character was going through. And I thought she showed the right amount of emotions and everything that was going on in this film. They hit it all pretty good. They did it justice for me. This movie is just classic James Wan. I like the way that it was filmed. You know, he does some of these shots where it's like tilted, and when something scary is about to go down, he does this thing with the camera, these camera angled scenes where you're looking at it from the side and then you see something coming and it's like, oh, it's like more effective. I've always admired that about James Wan. He knows how to do tense scenes. It was done really nice. I like the whole mystery behind this. You're always going to get a twist ending at the end, which I'll say something more about that later, but I thought it was done really well. It was what I was kind of expecting from a film directed by James Wan. But, you know, he always tries to keep it fresh. He always tries to up the ante. But it was done really nice. It was done really well. I like the way his filmmaking is. I like his style. Now, with the mixed, speaking of the twist, without getting too much into it, and this is kind of my fault, I saw the plot twist come a mile away. And it was kind of obvious, you know, by the second act. And yeah, at first, whenever the first clue hit me, whenever the first clue came on the screen, I was like, oh, okay, wait, that might be the plot twist. Wait a minute. Did I just ruin this for myself? Sure enough, I did. But what made it still stand out for me, I expected it. I expected the twist to come around like it did, but not the way they presented it. It was still an interesting enough thing that they put in there, but I still seen it coming, which is why I'm putting this in the mix. I still seen it coming, but it was interesting the way that they presented it. So I'm not completely bashing that. And the score was, you know, it was an interesting score. It's not something that I expected full on in a horror film, but it was weird. You know, I could get behind it, but it's just not something that I'm used to. It had like a rock, you know, sort of a rock, you know, punk rock vibe, or like, you know, I guess you could call it that, but like, I'm not much of a rock fan, but I've got like some rock music, but you know, I'm not like a hardcore fan like some people are, but it had like this rock vibe to it. And in like some of the scenes, the tense scenes, that's when the rock score would really shine. And I was watching it and I was like, okay, this is interesting, but it's still not something I'm used to. But again, I digress. I can get behind it. And now for the negatives. And it's something that's been bugging me throughout this whole entire runtime. The jump scares. I didn't really jump that much. The jump scares just didn't do that much for me. It wasn't as effective as most of other James Wan's films. He usually is really good at doing jump scares, but in Malignant, it's just most of the jump scares, it just didn't really, it lacked. It lacked a certain quality. And it's just, it wasn't something that, you know, to crap my pants about or anything, which is what I usually like doing figuratively. But, you know, it just didn't really do that much for me. And the CGI, this is actually heavily CGI in some spots. We all know that we could probably let a CGI moment go in an action movie because there's so much more going on, but it really lacks in the horror genre. If you use too much CGI in a movie and it's a horror movie, it really lacks. It really stands out like a sore thumb. And there was certain parts of this movie where the CGI did kind of take me out of the movie. It just infuriated me in a way. And there's one scene where the killer was running away from someone, and the way this person looked, the way the killer looked, when he was jumping through these wooden walls and stuff, and it was like a full-figured CGI character, and it just looked stupid. I was like, what the f? So yeah, there's that. It lacked. James Wan is really good in his past films of using like practical effects. Like the scene in The Conjuring when the feet was on the side, was on the back of the one character, and it was like, it turned and then come slowly towards the screen. That was awesome. You don't really get that much in this. They relied a little bit too heavily on CGI. All in all, guys, Malignant is still a fun movie to watch. If you're a horror fan, if you like orange candy, if you like plenty of blood, gore, and the style of James Wan, if you're a fan of all that, then you'll definitely have a good time. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. What did you think of Malignant? If you've seen it yet, did you think that this was one of James Wan's best? Or if you've seen better, what is your favorite James Wan movie? Leave me a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. I promise I will have more straight out the theater reviews for you soon. Since I can get my head straight on this. I know I said I wasn't going to rate movies anymore, but I've kind of changed my mind on that. It won't be the rating system that I had before, but it will be something. So, give me some time on that. Might not be on the next review, but, it'll be soon. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.